Initializing Ethereum protocol. Establishing link to Cloud Citadel. Welcome, Alita Army. You stand at the threshold of quantum consciousness.
Okay, hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita Livestream of March the 20th, 2026. The Cyborg Condition, Identity, Memory, and the Self, where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gunum, or as Maxie likes to say correctly, the source manga Gumu, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, Creek Indian from Denver, Colorado, and with me just north of Sydney, Australia, down in New South Wales, Max Tack. How's it going, Maxie?
Oh, yeah, well, you again told me it was on 9 p.m. my time, so I'm 12 hours early.
Oh, is it not the right time? Because I think I checked the link, that you have in the show notes for Radio Chaos, and I thought I had the right time, but do I not?
You put PM, it's AM. You're already 12 hours.
Oh, I see. I forgot to change the P to an A. Shoot. Well, you're 12 hours early, Maxie, like you said, so that's a good thing.
Oh, we got a Lee Lemon who's just back from a date in chat there.
Yeah, he's not in backstage, but it says he is late, and he does have a link there, Lee. Actually, let me go ahead and put that in there in case somebody wants to join. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. There it is. As we speak, there's the link. You click on that, you come in, and he says he has no link in Discord. I could have swore I sent that. Anyway, maybe not. So there you go, Lee. There's the link if you want to come on.
You're having one of those days, Creaky.
Yeah, I'm kind of fighting the cold. We're supposed to lift some weight last night, and I did lift a little bit, but I didn't really feel like lifting pretty heavy, so I just kind of lifted really light, and I lifted light a little bit today. So there's Lee from Fountain, Colorado. Hello there, Lee.
Hello. Yeah, I had the link from last week's.
Oh, okay. Maybe I hope I didn't put the wrong link in there. That'd be a bummer. So anyway, welcome aboard, guys. Now, before we get too far on, because Angelus asked me to do this, and as they say down in Australia, the bloke didn't actually hasn't showed up yet. But Chuck Norris died yesterday, and that's pretty awful. I think he was a recognized leader in martial arts, and I guess, someone that, a lot of folks, especially in the martial arts world, kind of looked up to. And let's see what Maxie's got here. Yep.
Death now has a Chuck Norris problem.
Nice.
That's neat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, So Yeah, he Chuck Norris was a really good friend of Bruce Lee's while he was alive, and you know they they hung out together a lot. And so, guess who just showed up from the UK? It's the Vladi. How's it going there, Vladi?
Hello, not too bad, not too bad. It's got a bit sunnier here now, which is nice. And I
It's
saw Project Hail Mary today, which was very good. I recommend seeing that.
cool. So it's sunny in England.
I know, right? It's crazy. It was like nearly 20 degrees on Wednesday, but it's cooled down a bit, but it's not been wet, so we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, we got weather in the upper 70s Fahrenheit. What does that work out to? Near 30, isn't it? I guess Lee can do that quickly in his head, I think.
29 degrees Celsius is what we got here.
Yeah.
Jesus, already. It's not even April yet.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I mean, tomorrow is. Oh no, I guess today is the first day of spring. I guess. I think it actually came about at 10:47 Eastern time. So, anyway. But as I was saying, Chuck Norris, was someone a lot of folks looked up to. He was not only a world champion in martial arts, but he was also a teacher and an actor and a producer and all kinds of good stuff. I mean, and to his credit too, he did not let his martial arts ability go to his head. I mean, certainly he had a lot of confidence and all that, which you do, but I remember seeing him in an interview where, he got a question from the interviewer, do you think you could have, beat up Bruce Lee? And he never would answer that question. He said, no, Bruce and I were really good friends. And I don't think in those terms about him, so, and they were two different types anyway. Bruce Lee certainly was a martial artist, but, Chuck Norris was a world champion. So they, you can form your own opinion on that, but Chuck Norris never would say that, yeah, I can beat up Bruce Lee. He never did say that, because they were really good friends. And, back in the 70s, I guess Bruce Lee died in 73. So, and it was not long after that where he answered that question, by saying, no, I don't think of Bruce like that. We were really good friends and I miss him or something like that. He's something to that effect. So anyway, that's, personally, I think that I guess I'm going to miss him. I mean, I don't really practice martial arts anymore. I mean, my brother does. My brother is like a 4th degree black belt in Kenpo and a 1st degree black belt in Taekwondo, and I achieved the level of 1st degree black belt in Kenpo myself, but I haven't trained in years. My brother still does, but I can remember seeing many Chuck Norris movies and Bruce Lee movies, and and particularly that one on the left there, that's from one called the Way of the Dragon. And, that was the final fight scene there in that movie. So anyway, we're going to
I remember when I was a kid, I had some surgery. It was nothing like that major, no injury or anything. And I had to stay there like a couple of nights, I think. And I had a little TV that they wheeled in.
Yep.
And I watched like at night, so I was staying up late watching Texas Ranger. What was it called again? Texas Ranger. Walker Texas Ranger. Yeah. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then I watched it a lot after that.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend that really loved Walker Texas Ranger. That was her favorite show. So which is pretty cool. I liked it too. It's been a while since I've seen any of the episodes, but. And it looks like, Lee, you said you were on a date. That's wild. You and your girlfriend?
Yes, we went out to went over the springs, went to mess around, sort of walked around, saw some shops, bought a few things, then went to a Baskin Robbins and got some ice cream.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you go down Academy down that road, or what? Where were you?
It was off Circle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know where that is. So.
Yeah, there is a Baskin Robbins on Academy that we wanted to go to, but for whatever reason, MapQuest, Google Maps, whatever the hell it is that we're using these days, it refused to give us directions to it for some reason.
Weird.
Yeah.
My favorite sushi place is there on Academy called Suhiru's. I mean, that's a pretty good place. I mean, it's I think it's still open. You know, I mean, it's been many years since I've been there. You know, I remember when I turned 40 years old, my sister-in-law made me carry a sign around. They had me fly out to Colorado. That's back when I was living in Florida, and she made me carry this sign around saying, "Lordy, Lordy, Gary's 40." I had to carry that sign around with me all night.
Okay.
So anyway, and her and my brother and this lady that, you know, that I met, you know, there, we went on like a double date, I guess. So, you know, it was a lot of fun, you know. Anyway, that's another story. Got sidetracked here. So yeah, we're gonna miss Chuck Norris. You know, a lot of memes about Chuck Norris and certain lot of jokes, you know, like you're not supposed to run with scissors, but Chuck Norris can. You know, everybody else is in danger when Chuck Norris runs with scissors, stuff like that, you know. So yeah, we're going to miss him. You know, I'm going to miss him. I mean, for sure. I'm not a karate practitioner anymore, but you know, he's going to be sorely missed, I think. So he died yesterday on my brother's birthday, which is weird. So so anyway, that's that, and we're going to miss Chuck. So anyway, just to get on with it, I guess. How are things going there in just north of Sydney, there, Maxie?
Oh, well, yeah, it's starting to cool down, thank Christ. It's been way too hot. So we're starting to actually get some autumn weather. We've had a lot of rain. Like, it's just been bonkers. It's been raining for like 3 days now. Although there was a little bit of sun this morning, but that won't last.
That sounds like storms. English weather.
Well, it's not like a gentle pattering of rain. This is like piss you off rain, like flood your yard rain. So
kind of like the rain they have in Florida. They have that kind of rain in Florida. So
did you ever see The Last Wave, Maxie? Have you heard of The Last Wave? It's like an old movie from the 70s.
The name sounds familiar, but
it's like it's got a lot. It was just reminding me of that because it's massive, like really intense, heavy downpour. You don't think when you think of Australia, you don't think of rain, but they do get these massive rainfalls, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's called the land of droughts and flooding rains. We have one or the other. There's nothing in between.
Yeah.
Weird. So that's what I got to look forward to, I guess, when I finally make my trek to Australia.
Well, I'm hopeful that we'll have some nice weather, but you never know.
What's the weather going to be like in Austin, Creaky, just to make everyone jealous again?
I don't know. You know, we're kind of a ways out from that. We're almost a month out, aren't we?
No, it's like a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, 3 weeks away, I guess.
I've just bought some headphones. I needed some for the flight. I needed some nice, like, closed, noise-canceling headphones. So I just bought some today before I went to the cinema. Cost me 230 quid. I can't afford any of this, but I don't care. We'll probably all be dead from World War III soon anyway. Yeah,
you and I guess you and Alita Rave and I, we need to coordinate our right. Well, now you're getting in there on Thursday, aren't you?
Yeah, let me check my dates. Which day? 9th. What date is Thursday?
9th.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Thursday afternoon. So, and you two are getting there on the 10th, right?
Alita Rave and I are getting there at 10th, so I guess you'll just have to take Uber to the, to the hotel. So
yeah, of course, I'll get an Uber from the hotel, and then I'll have a nice evening to myself in the hotel. It'll be great. Go to the bar, have a few drinks. It'll be so chill. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I just hope nothing ruins it. Like, I think kind of like ballistic nuclear missile landing somewhere that grounds every flight on planet Earth.
I hope not, but I don't think so. I think that won't happen.
I don't know. Let's just wait till at least I'm in Austin, and then I can, if they nuke the UK, then I can claim asylum in America and just stay there for the rest of my life.
I don't know if you want to.
These are the kind of like doomer paranoid thoughts I have all the time.
Wow.
Well, somebody's going to have them.
Well, I don't know if you want to claim asylum in the U.S. these days, but anyway, that's another story.
It's a pretty big country. I'm sure I could find someone to get it out, no matter how bad it gets. In the UK, it's like tiny. There's nowhere to hide.
The U.S. is pretty big. There's no doubt about it.
There's plenty of room in Texas too, right? and get around.
Yeah.
If my house isn't in rubble, I could sell it and then just buy a much bigger house in Austin.
Yeah, I don't know what the economy in Austin versus where you live, how it's different. You know, I don't know. You know, so.
I'm googling Austin house prices right now.
Oh, are you thinking of moving to Austin, Vladi?
Potentially. This country's going, mind you, everywhere's going to the dogs. We're all screwed.
Hopefully we'll get out of it. So anyway,
I'm sure we'll get out of it. It's just what shape are we going to be in?
Yeah, what shape are we going to be in when we get out of it? That's the question. Yeah. So I think we'll survive, though. You know, that's my opinion. Not to get too political here. Everybody on the stream here knows my.
What's the latest? Didn't aren't they saying Iran like bombed the Al-Aqsa or something?
I don't know. You know,
Iranian ballistic missile hitting the old city of Jerusalem, falling roughly 400 miles from the western. Okay, so haven't quite hit Al-Aqsa. Lots of like self-fulfilling prophecies are happening, and lots of apocalyptic stuff is going on. The messianic crazy people.
Nah, it's not good. That's not happening. You know, but, you know,
we're all gonna die.
No, we're not. Well, we are all gonna die eventually, except for me.
True. Yeah, you'll just go on forever.
And I'm kidding about that too. So yeah, but yeah, just all we can do is have faith and keep fighting for the Alita sequel. That's what we
exactly. Yeah. All I want is my Austin trip to go off without a hitch, and for the sequels to happen. Anything else is fine.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, yeah, the Iranian war is still going, the Russian war is still going. So I don't know. Anyway,
China will invade Taiwan.
Yeah, we can get off of this. Lee, how are things down there in Fountain?
Yeah, quiet so far.
Well, that's a good.
If the bombs do fly, we've got 5 military bases ringing us. So.
Yep. Yeah, we got to up here too. You know.
Yeah, I've got a military academy near me, so, and my mum's right by a big headquarters where they like plan all the bombings and stuff.
So, Vladi, how are things going on there in the UK?
Well, as I've pretty much established, pretty depressing. My council tax bills have just gone up another 5%, which is the maximum they're allowed to go to. Can't afford any of that, but I'm just, I don't care. Spend it all on the Austin trip, and then we'll all be dead soon anyway.
And then declare bankruptcy, I guess.
Basically, yeah. I bought some nice new headphones for the Austin trip, I think. Did I just mention that? I think I might.
Yes,
you did. Yes, I
did. Yeah.
Well, we should have fun in Austin. We're going to take video and pictures so we can.
Exactly. Yeah.
Put that on Radio Chaos next week or the week after Austin. So.
We should try and do like a live thing from Troublemaker Studios. I think we could sort that out.
Yeah, I don't know. They may make us sign a. They might make us sign a.
No, I don't think so. People post videos from there every time anyone goes.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, that'd be kind of cool to get some shots there and some video of Troublemaker Studios.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, I've been given very specific instructions from Schmendrick. He's told me to take 1 million photos, HD photos. Literally 1 million. I'm not sure I could take 1 million photos.
Well, I've told Smendrick 1 million times not to exaggerate.
Take millions of HQ pics and clips of your journey and your meetings. Oh,
yes.
Well, I'll say I'm going to get a new phone for the trip as well. Burner phone. I don't want the Americans taking my phone. American security.
I don't blame you.
Finding like an anti-American government meme and then like deporting me immediately.
Yeah. Or worse.
Yeah. ICE will like kidnap me just in Iron City. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be hilarious, Vladi.
You got to see the funny side.
Be strangely appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Weirdly appropriate too. Yeah. Looks like we got AKA out there. That's pretty cool.
Schmendrix also told me to hug our queen on the bridge. He's really optimistic that Rose is actually going to be there. I was getting the sense that he probably won't be from what I was saying, from what I got when I was mentioning.
So you guys are going to Austin, Texas?
Yeah.
We are. We're going to Troublemaker.
I don't think she'll be there, but she might. Who knows? You know, she might be there because she says, "Oh, Ben and Gary are going to be there. I got to go." I don't think that'll happen. So, you know.
She'll look at my Big Ben souvenir I gave her. She'll be like, "Oh, I've just got to get to Austin on April 11th."
Well, she probably. Well, you did tell her that Robert Rodriguez was holding an investors meeting, right?
Yeah, I told her it was to do with the Brass Knuckles Studios investment thing.
Oh. Well, let's cross our fingers and hope that she shows up. I don't think she will, but
I'm not optimistic, no. But
no, I don't
it
think
would be
so.
nice, but
It would be.
It's no big deal if she doesn't.
Yeah.
It's obviously miles away from where she lives, so you can't expect it.
Yeah, it's probably 1,200 miles or more. You know, maybe 1,700 kilometers maxi. So.
Oh, just a little trip.
Yeah, just a hop, skip, and a jump, I guess. All right, moving on. We still got the LA Fires fundraiser going on. We've raised $1,700. Every dime of this money goes to the victims, to the greater good charity. And, you know, we don't pocket any of this money. We don't have any kind of administrative costs or anything like that. You know, so every dime of this money goes to the help those folks. Now, we haven't had a donation for quite a while now. This is kind of an old image right here. Certainly there's been a donation within the past year, but I think the last donation was like 3 months ago. So you know, but that's okay. You know, if you got any you know, a few quid or a few euros or a few dollars to spare, we'd appreciate it, you know, to help these folks out. You can do like Angelus and I have done. We just use our names, you know, we're not concerned about it too much. But if you are, you can either specify anonymous or do like Lottie did. He put Lottie 99 in there as the name. So, because once you donate, on the right-hand side of this, you'll see a list of people that have recently donated, and some of their names will be there. So you'll see some anonymous. You'll see some internet handles, you know, like, you know, Lee, I think, specified anonymous. Alita Rave specified anonymous, and you know, however you want to do that. So if you can, there's a link you see below the image on the screen. That link is down in the description. You click on it, takes you to the website, and no amount is too small.
Well, 1p might be too small. You probably can't donate that.
Yeah, probably $1 or a euro or you know, a pound or whatever, you know.
Probably doesn't physically let you, so there is too small a donation.
Whatever.
Suffice it to say, any amount from the minimum on up is.
Yeah, that's right.
He just says that every week, so I said finally debunk his lies.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, if you can, we'd appreciate those donations. Now, we also got the Alita sequel petition going on, and we haven't added a signature in the past couple of weeks. So I think tomorrow I'm going to do a video for, you know, because Maxie knows that I'm a whore and that I like to premiere my Saturday videos when Radio Chaos kicks off. So I'm going to put together a video that has at least you know, a few frames in it, you know, promoting this and putting the link down in the description of the video. You know, maybe we can get something going. And I think probably
it's called being a shameless self-promoter, Creaky.
That's what it is. That's just another word for, you know. Yeah, I think Elle Lamont got a big kick out of that, didn't she? When I told her I was a shameless self-promoter. So anyway, if you can, you know, if you haven't signed the petition yet, you know, click on that link in the description. It's the same link that's below the image there. It takes you to the website, and you do have to enter your name and your email address, but you can specify that to be anonymous if you want. See, there's a couple of people there you see that have just used their names, and that's okay. You can do that, or you can specify anonymous. Now, if you want, you can even put money toward this to promote the sequel if you want, and they will do this. I'm not sure how they do it, how they promote it, but it does drive the signatures up, and this is one reason I'm going to, kind of do that again, to kind of maybe keep those numbers going up. So anyway, if you haven't signed the petition, please do so. This is our way of, kind of doing like our, one of our favorite guys in the world, the late John Landau. You remember he told us to keep pinging Disney, keep peppering them. And
Peppering.
Peppering is what he said. We want to, keep reminding them, that, hey, we want that sequel. And we got,
there's a new sheriff in town at Disney, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, they need to talk to the old sheriff.
I know. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, I suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, didn't they just have an investors meeting there at Disney on Wednesday, wasn't it? Or is that coming up? I'm not sure.
Oh, no, that happened. Nothing came of it. It was just a bunch of bollocks.
Yeah, I was afraid that was going to happen. So, because the rumor was they were going to announce some sequels or announce some green lights, but they didn't do it. So, from what I heard, so I don't know.
Apparently, a new Conan movie's been greenlit at 20th Century Studios.
Mm.
Yeah,
the wheeling out party again.
Not the one we're hoping for.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that last Conan movie with, I guess, Jason Momoa didn't do too well, did it? I mean,
there was a Conan movie with Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
I
didn't even know about that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it, but I mean, it didn't do well at the box office. So, yeah. Anyway, sign the petition. Help us keep Disney on their toes, which is what we want to do. And we still have Rosa's Queen Studios bust of Alita. It's still in the box. I haven't opened it. I think Star of Alien sent this to me about 3 years ago, and I've kept it ever since. Might even be 40 years by now. I'm not sure, And I promised him I wouldn't open the box, and I haven't. Now, once Rosa lets us know that she wants this, because she does want it, she told me she wanted it. So, that, and we want to get it to her, any way she wants, we'll get it to her that way. And when she does let us know, and I suspect it'll be when they greenlight the Alita sequel, that's probably when she'll, want us to get this to her. And if she says, Creek, I want you to, I don't know if she knows me as Creek or not, Lottie. She might say Gary, I don't know. But anyway, she might just say, hey, can you drive that down here to Los Angeles? And I'd say, yes, my queen, I can definitely drive that down there, to Los Angeles. I mean, I'd be happy to do it, or I'll ship it to her, however she wants it, and this isn't a Hot Toys Alita or some other small figurine. This is the scale 1-to-1 bust of Alita. It's the actual size, of Alita from waist up, and we've seen. Oh, here we go. Let me get Blottie's.
Well, I thought I'd give you a visual representation of it.
Yeah.
As you're talking about it.
Yep. And it is
stunning. Look at her. She looks like she's real.
Yeah. And we want to get this to Rosa for sure. We want her to have this, because for us this is now when Vladi and Smendrick and Angelus and I went to see her in January, we gave her some gifts, and she loved all the gifts we've given her. I think Vladi's given her a couple other gifts on the times he's gone. Certainly,
one was from someone on the subreddit who drew a nice art for them, so I printed it out for her. So I printed it out, and another one was just some cheap London tatch, a reminder of our time in London and of me, because it was a Big Ben souvenir, and my name's Ben.
Yeah.
So she'll think, there's that guy who came to see me 4 times.
Yeah.
Well done him for not crossing over into
there's that good looking devil, she'll say.
Exactly, yeah.
So Vladdy, is that your nickname with your ex-girlfriends? Big Ben?
Yeah.
No, I
Sure,
think
let's say that.
devil would be more like it, Maxie.
I don't think you get what I'm saying, Creaky.
Oh, maybe
He
I'm
really
not.
does. He really does.
Well, I'm being a boomer, I guess. Huh? So,
Exactly. Yeah. Always. That's why we love you, Creaky.
yeah, I know. So anyway, but for us, this, you know, we gave her these gifts. She loved every single one of them. She really loved that necklace we gave her. And, you know, and we've, you know, there was all kinds of stuff we gave. I don't remember what all we gave her, but, you know, this right here is not a gift. For us, this is an expression of our appreciation, admiration, and affection for our queen, Rosa. You know, this is something that we most dearly want her to have, you know, because for us, this is like an award. You know, this is not a gift, you know. So, and it's we only mean to give this to her in the most positive way, you know. So, but she does want it. You know, I remember seeing her the first time at Pasadena Playhouse. I told her we had this for her, and she was, you know, she was kind of excited about that. And then, you know, when the second time I saw her, she said, "Yeah, I do want the bust." And I said, "Well, you know, we'll work out the details." Of course, we never did, you know, but
She hasn't replied yet, even though she's finished her play in London.
yeah.
She should be just chilling at home with loads of time to reply.
Well,
I'm just joking. She doesn't owe us any reply or anyone.
unless she decided to stay in England for a holiday there, Bloody, she might have drove up to or gone up to Scotland for a
Maybe.
while and stuff like that, you know.
Maybe. She was very polite when I said, because since she's been here, there's literally been not one day of sunshine. Not one. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
I asked AI, and they said it was the longest period in history of like lack of sunshine. So poor Rosa. And when I mentioned, oh, you've had about 2 days of sunshine since you've been here, she was like, "No, I love it." I was like, "Oh, bless."
Yeah.
She's so polite.
Yeah, sure you do. There, our queen.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, but Rosa is very polite like that. She's very nice. She's really, really nice to all of us. I mean, she talked to us for the longest time, didn't she, Blotty? I mean, she was
I know. Yeah.
hugging
I
us.
felt when it was just me, I felt a bit like, oh, I'm taking too much of her time up.
Yeah. Well,
But she didn't seem to mind.
Yeah, I mean, she loves her fans, you know, and that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons we love her a lot too, because you know, she takes time with us and, you know, loves us, and we certainly love her, and that's why we want her to have this bust. So if she's lurking out there, I don't know if she is or not, or if she sees this after the video, after the stream has ended, and she watches it later, I hope she knows that we really want her to have this, you know, and it's it's only meant, you know, it's only meant as something as our expression, you know, for her to have in the most positive way, you know.
Yeah,
So,
and if she gets really mad, she can use that sword on you know, people holding up the sequel.
yeah.
And I don't mean in an extremely violent way, because it's not even sharp. So all she could really do is bludgeon people. She couldn't even like stab anyone.
She doesn't strike me as a person who would want to bludgeon somebody, Bloody.
Really? I don't know. I feel like she could get really mad.
Well, she might. I mean, as Alita, she kind of got mad, didn't she?
Yeah.
With Vector, she did, and with the Gruishka and Zapan, she did. So anyway, hopefully we'll get this to her, you know, after the sequel's greenlit, and you know, we want her to have this. We want her to love it, and we want her to know that we really love her a lot. So anyway, moving on, because Maxie's going to get on me about waxing lyrical, so I'm going to go on to this slide right here.
Did I do that?
Yes, you would do that. You would do that. So we got the Alita Gaming Network going on, and certainly if you're a member, you get to, you know, it's kind of a cool hangout place. You know, I mean, there's the last I checked a couple of weeks ago, there was 54 members to this. It's pretty small. So, you know, it's not you know, we're not really pushing this real hard. You know, the only place we actually promote this is on this stream, and on the Radio Chaos stream is the only two places we do any kind of, I guess you would say, marketing for it, which is not really what it is. But, you know, if you do live streams, you're doing a live stream about Alita, you can put that link, in the live streams channel. If you do fanfics, like Maxie and Lee, they've got fanfics that are, they're novel level fanfics, and they are really excellent. And you can get into the fan fiction channel and read those. I know channel does not exist, has several shorts, fan fiction shorts out there. Panini Freak has got a fanfic out there. I've got a fanfic out there. And you can, if you want to see new stories about Alita, even if it's not canon, I would say that probably Maxie's fanfic is closest to canon. But the rest of ours are certainly, in the spirit of Alita, for sure. If you do artwork or you do videos, we have a user creations channel. You can either upload your content to that, or you can put a link in there. Like if you do YouTube videos, as an example, you can, put the link, for your video on YouTube in the user creations channel. If you're doing content that's not, Alita related, then you can put that in the off-topic channel. And there is some politics in there, but it's not in your face type politics. I kind of keep an eye on that. If I see any kind of really left leaning or extreme left or extreme right posts in there, I'm gonna delete the shit out of those. But otherwise, if you could put anything in there you want, as long as it's not, suggestive in any kind of nature, it's not inappropriate, you can put that in there. If you want to, communicate with other people in the network, we got 3 voice channels, and they're not streamed. In other words, see, like this right here, this stream is going to YouTube right now, but in the voice channels, those are not going to anywhere except they're in the channel. So you can invite people in the network and just have a conversation with them. You can share your screen. If you want to play a video, you can do that. Or if you want to play a game and have somebody watch, you can do that as well. I know in the gaming channel, Vladi and Smendrick were playing RoboCop and a couple other games in there, I think, at one point before.
Yeah, I need to start that up again.
Yeah, before Smendrick's eyes started giving him a lot of trouble. So
he says he's got bigger screens now, so I could start it up again.
Oh,
anything
cool.
to distract myself from the endless doom scrolling.
Oh, cool. So anyway, hopefully they'll get going on that again. But it's kind of like a GoToMeeting or Microsoft Teams or Zoom or something like that. That's kind of what those voice channels are like. You can, if you want, you can turn your camera on, but you don't have to. You can leave your camera off and just talk, and your avatar will be displayed, and it's a good way to talk to other people on the network, and people at the in the internet at large cannot see this, because the only way you can get access or get into any of these voice channels is to be a member of the Alita Gaming Network. So you can get in there, invite people, they come in there, you can talk to them, you can do some cool stuff, whatever you want, in those channels. We do watch parties. I know I haven't done a watch party for a while, and maybe that's something we ought to take care of. Vladi, maybe I ought to do another watch party here.
We haven't done one in ages. The last one was what? I don't know. The Elite.
Well, we watched Chips about 2 weeks before, or a week.
You are wrong.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's like actually there was a recent watch party on there.
You haven't even looked at the channel if you don't.
Oh my God.
Leah and I have been watching Murderbite.
Oh,
and
cool.
We advertised it and we invited you guys, but you
Oh my
just
God.
don't look.
Well, I
didn't even see that.
Maxie, I've been kind of busy this week, so I didn't have a chance to get into it. That's why I said I haven't been in the network.
Well, how many episodes are you in? Are you watching the whole series?
We're watching the whole series. Well, it's only like 8 or 10 episodes or something. It's not.
Are you watching the whole thing?
To Maxie's point, you don't have to wait for the creep to do a watch party. You can do your own watch party. You don't have to get my permission or anything like that. You just get in there and watch it.
How many episodes did you get through?
3, was it, Lee?
3 or 4. I want to say 4, but now
maybe I can catch up and you can carry it on.
Yeah, sure. Join us.
When are you doing it next?
This next Sunday, I think.
Yeah, so it's
tomorrow.
Sunday nights
tomorrow.
US. Well, it's Sunday nights your time too, but it's quite late on your side of things.
Oh yeah, it might be too late.
About 10:30 p.m. we start.
So it'd be about 3 o'clock for me, right, Maxie? 3:30 maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
About 4, I think, actually.
I did send you a DM about it, Creaky, and gave you the time on your side because obviously I needed to know the time where you are because you're not far from Lee.
Well, I've been busy, Maxie. I have to work, you know. So.
On a Sunday?
Not on Sunday, I don't, but I do train on Sunday, so I'm not working, but I am training. So, you know.
Well, there you go.
So anyway, but I'll keep an eye out. You know, I'll watch it. I tell you tomorrow. What you doing it tomorrow? You say, Maxie?
Yep.
All right, I'm good.
Well, no, not tomorrow. Sunday evening, your time.
Oh, today's Friday. That's right. Yeah, or Saturday for you, Maxie. So
yes, it's all a bit confusing with these time zones.
Yes. So anyway, well, whenever you have it, I'll keep an eye out for it, and I'll join the next one. So, but
actually,
I know
it is your time.
I haven't done a watch party since maybe a week or two before. You know, the four amigos or four musketeers went to England. Actually, Blotty was already in England, but the other three, we all went to see Rosa, you know, and surprise her. So, you know, we watched Chips, I think, and that was kind of neat, you know. So, okay. So anyway, the idea is you click on that link you see below our Chibi Alita mascot. That link is down in the description. Now, if you don't have a Discord username, they're going to prompt you for one. But if you get the basic service, it's free. And to join the gaming network, it's also free. We do not charge for this, and nobody in the Alita Army makes money on this or any other thing we do with Alita. You know, I remember there was that. Maxie, do you remember there was that tweet? I guess it was on X that there was some guy had put a video out or something like that saying that, you know, a bunch of us had made money on it and we hoarded the money and ran off or something like that. And I think they were talking about the OGs. And I remember Dizzy put a video in there of a guy jumping into a pool full of cash. So I told Dizzy, I said, Dizzy, I knew I liked you for a good reason. So anyway, but no, we don't make money on Alita. We don't do it. You know, for us, this is a labor of love. We don't, you know, this is not something that, you know, that's
we're just here for the love of the game.
That's exactly right. And we're not too slow to the game either.
We're not too slow to play indeed.
Yep. All right, now we've done some similar streams to this. I want to go a little bit deeper on this. So, you know, we're going to talk about 4 things about, you know, a cyborg and kind of, you know, about their psyche. You know, I mean, in other words, you know, if a person is mostly machine, like you see Alita there in that very excellent picture, I think that picture is stunning to me. You know, I mean,
it's literally one of the most like beautiful CGI creations in cinema, or just general like artistic creations in cinema history. The detail of her body, the internal mechanism, the performance of Rosa with Christoph Waltz, one of the great actors of our generation.
Yeah,
it's just absolutely insane how underrated the film was.
Yeah, it is. It's very insane.
Very suspicious, insidious. You have to wonder how corrupt the media is when such a work of art is treated as trash and like military propaganda of like some basic MCU movie is lifted up as some great feminist masterpiece.
Yeah.
You really have to question what's going on.
I do remember when I came on, I mean, I came on late, you know, about a year after you guys all got together, but I remember seeing tweets, you know, on Twitter, you know, about this being a feminist thing and it's all right and all that bullshit.
Of course, yes, I could go deep into that.
Yeah.
Basically, the feminists' critics were played by Disney marketing. Asad Ayaz, he was in charge of Captain Marvel's promotion, and he was basically leading all the critics up. He was basically like fem-washing all the like military propaganda that was in that film to make all the progressives support it, which was just basically a big crime against art and humanity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, Captain Marvel did what, I mean, just because Alita would do well, it wouldn't take anything away from Captain Marvel. I don't know, I always kind of wondered about that. So why would these people even do this? You know, I mean, because the two films are, you know, they're not even competing with each other, really. You know, I mean,
in a way they are, though, because Captain Marvel's marketing was built a lot on the whole like first female action hero ever sort of thing, you know what I mean, where they all say like, oh, this is a massive landmark in female-led cinema, when Alita came out literally a few weeks before that as a whole new female-led franchise, which all the feminist critics should have been like singing from the high hilltops, but they didn't, because it was created by men and they just basically just hate men.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's not going to happen with the sequel. So,
well, we'll be here to fight them this time. I wasn't really around in the very early days when like all the critics were attacking them. I sort of joined like after the film came out, because all the critics, they review it and stuff before, so that I wasn't really aware. I only discovered it after I saw the film, and then I looked back and saw, what the fuck's going on here with all these critics? Why are they attacking this film? And then they were all obviously getting ready to stan Captain Marvel, which came out a few weeks later, which I was interested to find out that Asad Ayaz, the marketing executive of Disney, who's now been promoted to some other big shot marketing CEO role at Disney, he's actually the son of a Pakistani Air Force like high-ranking official, which is interesting because Captain Marvel was obviously heavily associated with the American Air Force. So I wonder if there's some kind of like association there going on.
Well, I don't know.
I'm all getting very conspiratorial here.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Well, I do know when I first came on the Elite Army, it was very early on. I got called an alt-right misogynist. So, you know,
I can't wait to fight those guys again. It's going to be so much fun. Just need to get that green light, and then we'll be going to war, lads.
Yeah.
Well,
I know one thing. Anybody that's seen my Twitter feed would know I'm not.
No, I think
I'm definitely not a misogynist. So, you know, I mean, I
mean, we'll be on Disney's side, so maybe there won't be the same attacks, but we'll see.
Well, it feels like a lot of those people who associate Battle Angel Alita with misogyny are just focused on something else at this point.
A wild chaos appears.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing the question. Why does Alita have boobs? I mean, because she's a girl, you dumbass.
What was that New York Times review? That was obviously just a complete hit piece. Why do androids dream of boobs or something infantile like that? Something completely like immature.
Not electric sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just it was obviously a play on words of the Philip K. Dick story. And Alita isn't even an android, so, and yes, why wouldn't she dream of boobs? She's a female cyborg. Obviously she'd want to have boobs. That's perfectly natural.
Well, there was nothing.
These feminists are just completely anti-women. That's the most ironic thing about it.
There was nothing in the movies that even suggested that she dreamed of having boobs. That was what got me, you know.
Subconscious self-image of it.
I mean, yes, so it did suggest that, Creaky. It was her subconscious image of herself that her boobs grow slightly to that of a fully grown woman and not a what's it when you're like not either gender, when you're between genders? What's the word for that? Androgynous. Androgynous, yeah, not just some androgynous default body, which for some reason these feminists want her to have when she's a woman, so she should have a female body, right? But I don't know, it's very strange what's going on with these. I don't know, you could probably say Marxists or some kind of thing like that. I'm not really sure.
Well, anyway, getting back to this, which I apologize, I'm the one that got us going on this. But yeah, one of the things that we want to talk about a little bit here, because I got Lottie, you know, I got slides on this. So one of the things that
please bring on the slides to distract me from crazy political.
I will. So one of the things we're going to talk about, you know, is if your body is technology, is it still you? In other words, if you now in Alita's case, she
It's kind of like the ship of Theseus concept, isn't it? What's that?
sort
Have you heard of that?
yeah, sort of, yeah.
You take away all the different parts, is it still the same ship? And if you take away all your different body parts, is it still the same person? I would argue yes, because it's the same brain.
Well,
and the
not
same
just take it away,
personality.
but also replace with identical parts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you
Or
take
at
a
least
ship,
functionally identical in a lot of ways. So
yeah, because the original thing was you take a ship, you replace the planks, the mast, all that with identical parts that are all new and weren't part of the original vessel. Is it still the same vessel?
yeah. But
Yeah.
even if your body's completely technology, and of course, like in Alita's case, you remember she has amnesia, or she did at the beginning of the movie, and for the most part still had amnesia at the end of the movie. What does that do to her and her image of herself, or her identity? I mean, because she wasn't absolutely sure that berserker body was her. She said it feels more me, but and she
I think part of that was also her core was designed to integrate with that technology.
yes,
So
which is what
the fit was more appropriate to what the technology her
yeah.
core was made up of.
Well, the thing of it is too, in Alita's case, now, certainly the movie, is not, I mean, it doesn't go into any of the backstory that's in the manga so much, except for maybe some of the fight scenes, with Gelda, I guess. But really, Alita was a totally different person, in Mars Chronicles. I mean, she was certainly she was a little girl to begin with, but eventually, she's a warrior, and she did some pretty awful stuff, So and of course she loses all that memory, and now she's a blank slate. So what does that mean for her identity? I mean, she's got to rebuild her identity, isn't she?
I would say she actually does rebuild her identity.
Yeah.
I mean, the blank slate lasts for a while, and she sort of builds a new personality and worldview on that blank slate. Then when she gets her past back, basically, then she has to integrate all of that into the new personality she's built.
Yeah.
And we're up to the bit where she gets her past back right now in Last Order.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but as Yoko, though, she's a totally different person. Now, I think as Alita, she probably, when she does eventually start getting these memories back, like in the manga, I think she recognizes it because of Ito's influence, that those were kind of, she was not a good person. I think she kind of maybe remembers that, or I wouldn't say a bad person, but she was a soldier, that, was carrying out the mission, and if there was collateral damage, well, so be it. I think that
she was a fully indoctrinated soldier. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, and of course, what does that mean to someone's psyche if their body can be rebuilt, or you can say transfer your core and your brain from body to body? What does that do to you mentally? So we'll chat about that a little bit. And then, of course, how is that similar? If you, as an example, if you spend, like Alita did in the manga, 200 years in the scrapyard unconscious, or in the movie 300 years in the scrapyard unconscious, how is that similar to, like, for instance, if you're in an accident and it causes a lot of damage to you, and maybe even some brain damage? How are those two things similar? What does that mean for recovery? Because it seemed to me in the movie, when Alita first woke up, she really didn't recover per se. I mean, she just woke up, and it was like, with the exception of her not having her memory, it was like she was continuing from one time period to another. Now, at the point she woke up, she didn't know it was 300 years in the movie, but it wasn't like she had to go through some kind of how would you say, counseling or something like that to recover, her psychological, makeup, or her, you know, how she perceives things, or, you know, her kind of her image of herself.
Well, like Cameron said, is she became a blank slate. So there was no trauma because all memory of all that got pushed into the back. So she was operating as if she were just a new person, completely
Yeah.
new person. She didn't even know her own name. She had
Mm.
no real identity at that time. She was just a newly
It's in our
awoken person.
subconscious, though, is it not?
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have a whole lot of effect on her in the waking
True.
world.
Yeah, which we saw. She was so sweet and innocent. She had no idea that she did all these bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like-
where before she probably would have turned a blind eye to somebody like Gruishka,
Yeah.
unless he was part of her mission objectives. The new version of her that had been reborn basically saw him as a threat to people. People that
Mm.
even if she didn't know them, she cared about their safety.
Yeah. And of course, you know, her as Alita, you know, after she wakes up and she, you know, develops relationships with Ito and Gerhard and Hugo and,
Mhm.
you know, Tanji and so forth, you know, Koyomi, anybody that would threaten, you know, the folks she cared about, that's when I guess some of that subconscious, you know, defend, you know, type situation, or take them out before they can do harm. You know, that I think that would be the same whether she was Yoko or Alita. Now I think as Yoko, she probably didn't have the kind of deep-seated relationships with other people that she did with, say, Ito and so forth. Because remember, there was that one guy.
Yeah, I was about to say there was that one guy in the
Yeah.
shuttle or something like that they were on.
Yeah,
I
he
can't remember what it was. They were getting ready to go out to perform their mission, and he professed his love to her. She just kills him coldly and calls him a weakling.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure that Yoko at that point in time, that kind of person that she was, would have really cared really about other people's safety.
Yeah.
I'd just like to mention that was in the non-canon ending.
Oh, that wasn't on. Okay. Yeah, I keep getting them mixed up.
So whether or not that's still how he sees her is another thing.
Well, even in Last Order, you see how she fights, the way she is merciless as she is. I mean, there was that one guard in the scene where she's getting onto the station to get ready to sabotage it.
Yeah.
And she basically plays with one guy, and he's begging her to stop, and she just torments him a little bit before finally killing him.
Yeah. So she had a little bit of a Yoko in her there too, didn't she?
Oh, that was Yoko.
Yeah.
That was a flashback.
She's easily the best Yoko. Sorry, Yoko Ono.
Yeah. Yeah.
She ruined the Beatles, goddammit.
Yeah, I think she was the main reason the Beatles broke up, wasn't she?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our Yoko never did that. She just
Yoko killed 150,000 people.
Exactly. No big deal. It's not as bad as ending the Beatles.
Yeah. You know what I think is cool is the Beatles are still big. I know some folks that are a lot younger than me that still love the Beatles. I'm really? Yeah. They're great. Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, what makes a person who they are, you know? So we've kind of touched on this before. What is consciousness? Well, we don't really know, do we? I mean, you know, you don't know. If you talk to somebody, you don't know that they're conscious or not. You can only kind of surmise maybe they are by talking to them and looking at them and that kind of thing. But, you know, we still haven't defined what consciousness is. Now,
yeah, I was going to say that's one of the, I think it's neuroscience's biggest mysteries is what is it that makes us conscious?
Yeah. Well, I do think, though, in the manga, where they're able to, you know, upload, you know, a person's essence, I guess you could say, into like brain chips and that sort of stuff, they probably have a greater handle on what consciousness is than we do. Of course,
Oh, they'd have to have, I think.
yeah, of course, they're 540 years in advance of us.
Yeah,
So
not to mention Nova's ability to rebuild a brain that was basically splattered all over the ground
yeah,
and somehow get the person back.
yeah. And the person has the memories, you know.
I mean,
so
I would
that's,
call that almost magic level technology.
yes. So anyway, if you remember too, the Alita did have memories, you know, I mean, before the baby bomb, you know.
Yeah, she was getting flashbacks and things and little bits of her old life back.
Well, even when
Nausea.
when Ito found her in the scrapyard, and of course she would get in fights and stuff like that. She'd have a flashback. So her memory, at least the deepest corners of her memory, would get, you know, kind of revived somehow, you know. Now, with in terms of how the mind and the body interact with each other, you know, what kind of role would that play, you know, in that? Because I mean, certainly a person that would be like in a human body, and all of a sudden they were put in a body like you see here. What would that do to them, to their psyche? What would that do to their personality? You know.
We have n equals 1 in the movie, and it made him climb up the pipe to Zalem.
Yeah.
Basically.
But in the manga, you remember, and I think also in the was it in the OVA, Hugo, he kind of freaked out, didn't he?
Yeah, that's who I think he's talking about. He climbed up that supply tube.
Yeah. In the animated film, he realized, like, I don't have a body anymore, and this isn't funny. He just like, no.
Yeah, I mean, he
screamed, like, he saw that he had like nothing left of his body, and he screamed.
Yeah.
You smoking, Chaos? You got the chuckles.
Can I have some?
I'm just tired.
I'm gonna have some.
I think it would probably depend a great deal on the frame of mind the individual's in, their mental state, what caused them to lose their previous body, and how well integrated into the new body they could be. Like if it's a cruder cyborg body that doesn't emulate the human body very well, and they're in a good frame of mind for receiving a new body, then it might work out okay. But if they've received some sort of significant trauma and they weren't ready to go into a new body, and you've got a crude body that doesn't, you know, emulate a human body very well, it may not go very well at all. And they may end up with severe case of maybe some sort of body dysmorphia or any number of other health issues, mental health issues.
Yeah.
But if they've got a good frame of mind, they were prepared for it, their old body was, you know, maybe falling apart for some reason, and they get a good body that's going to integrate with their mind well, and it emulates the functions and feel of a human body well enough, then they'll probably do very well with it.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on the person and how much preparation. You know, I do know that I've read, and I actually know an individual that is trans, and it's not just, you know, going from, say, one sex or one gender to another, but they have to go through some psychological, you know, kind of preparation for this. You know, it seems to me that a person that would be, let's say you're a person that the doctor has told you that, hey, you got 6 months to live. You know, you got a very aggressive form of cancer. You're not going to see Christmas, you know, unless you let us transplant your head to this artificial body over here. And you prepare for that mentally. I think you would probably, most people, I guess, I don't know, Maxie, you would know more about this than I would, but it seems to me under those circumstances, an individual would more easily accept their new body. Most people, maybe. You know, what's your take on that, Max?
It would depend how plastic your mental strength is. and by plastic I mean flexible.
Yeah.
Plastic, before plastic was used to describe a material that was flexible that we ended up using in frickin' everything. It was a medical term meaning flexible or able to change. So you would need a mind that was open to new possibilities and being able to accept that things are not the way they used to be. Now, a lot of people do struggle with that. A lot of people are very much mentally weighed down and tied to their past experiences. And if things suddenly change, they can't deal with it. That's why a lot of people in emergency situations just shut down.
Yeah.
Because they can't deal with the change. And it would take a sort of person who, you know, is open-minded and has a sort of a more plastic mental framework to be able to accept the new situation.
Yeah.
If you look at the movie RoboCop, and especially RoboCop 2, they tried to replicate what they did with Murphy in the original RoboCop, in RoboCop 2, and all these people committed suicide the moment they realized that they no longer had their biological bodies and they were put into a machine. So basically...
never mind. Just go on. I forgot it. I forgot. It's close to the end with the other guy.
Yeah, well, basically they couldn't deal with the change, whereas, you know, you need somebody who's prepared for that. Now, Alita is a special case in that she, according to the manga anyway, not the movie background, but the manga background, she never had a biological body. Yeah. So she doesn't have that experience to lose.
I'm just saying the other person who accepted it, well, kind of accepted it, was Kane. And Kane,
yeah, but they bribed him with drugs.
Well, he was using the drug, and he was already addicted to it before they did the surgery to him.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Alita's biological body when she was born?
The manga Alita never had one.
Yeah.
Oh,
what does that mean?
She did have didn't she have an organic body? She had an organic body at one point because she had.
How was she born?
Well,
okay, she was a tumor they took off a person's body, and
yeah, I was going to say that would be a bit
that's organic, you know. Yeah. But I think she got into a cyborg body way before her. I guess.
Yeah, she was a cyborg from infancy, basically.
From very early on. Yeah, so she probably. Yeah, like AAK says, you know, I mean, to his point, I think she got that cyborg body before she actually was fully sentient, I think. She was a little bitty girl, you know, and she wouldn't have any recollection, you know, of what it would like to have a
I just want to point out, to finish my diatribe, I just want to point out that Alita would have the opposite reaction at the end of Last Order, where she's bioprinted a biological body. It is the first time she has ever been a fully biological organism. So she would go back the other way. She would have to adjust to being a meat girl.
A meat girl,
yeah.
So and that's the beauty of Kishiro's writing. He flips everything on its head at some point.
Yeah, he does. So it'd be kind of like a friend of mine that, you know, I've lifted weights with in the past. He's a paraplegic, and he basically, you know, he was in a car accident where he lives in a really rural area in the Appalachian Mountains, and he basically, a deer jumped out in front of his car, and he swerved to miss the deer, and he went over an embankment, and it paralyzed him from from the waist down. Now, one of the things, my brother did a video on this that aired on local TV station there, but one of the things he said is, hey, you can either accept and try to move on, or you can just die. And he accepted it, and he's kind of a role model for people, you know, in that kind of a, you know, position, you know. But I think it's a similar thing there. I mean, he had trauma that totally changed his life, you know, completely. And he adapted. And I think that's, you know, now he knows what it's like to have legs and all that stuff. Whereas with Alita, when she was, as a very little girl, organic, was not aware of any difference between, a human body and a cyborg body. And it's like Maxie was saying at the very end of Last Order, when she gets bioprinted, now she's got a completely human body, and she doesn't really consciously know what that is.
She's never known what it means to be completely human.
Yeah, because when she was organic, she was so small that she wasn't really fully sentient yet, so she didn't have any real recollection of it. Like, how many of us can remember when we were 1 month old? We can't. It's that kind of thing. Now, that fourth bullet there, does the ego exist? Let me explain that one a little bit. There's a famous 20th century philosopher named Alan Watts. And, he contended that the ego does not exist. And what he meant by that is you can't touch it. You can't taste it. You really can't hear it. And what it is, it's just you reacting to stimuli and you internalizing that in a feeling of yourself. But it doesn't exist in a physical way, So it seems to me that if someone like Alita, as an example, she goes from body to body, and in her case, she doesn't have this idea that, okay, I'm going in this different body. It's totally different for me, and it's good, and it, I don't like this as much. Maybe her self-esteem might suffer or something like this. That's not her. She's so, how would you say, used to being in cyborg bodies that it doesn't even impact her, her self-image of herself or her quote ego unquote.
Yep.
So, and
I have to wonder if ending up in a fully organic body would feel like she'd become crippled, considering she was used to all these powerful cyborg bodies.
Yeah. Well, I know
her cyborg bodies could feel like subtle feelings too, right?
Yeah.
If they had a high enough quality sense of touch, yeah, they had
the Berserker body when she was with Hugo, the feeling the slight touch sensation.
Yeah.
That's a human feeling.
Yes.
Of itself. It's not really a
texture.
People think of cyborgs as not feeling anything, but cyborgs can feel just as much as humans.
If you put a sense of touch in the materials, yes.
Yeah,
exactly. Depending on the technological advancement of their body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think, Maxie, we talked about this on a Radio Chaos thing about her having that human body at the end of Last Order. I think we've talked in the past about how, she loves Figure 4, and, they would probably go back to, now we don't know what happens at the end of Last Order after that, but in terms of the human Alita and Figure 4, but we've conjectured that probably Alita would have a couple of kids with Hugo because not Hugo, with Figure 4, but because she loves him, and he might want kids or something like that. But she would miss being in a cyborg body so much that she would want to be, kind of reintegrated with another cyborg body. So I think we've had that discussion a couple of times, haven't we, Maxie, on Radio Chaos?
Oh yeah.
I was also going back to something Vladdy was talking about too, with the enhanced sense of touch the Berserker body in the movie had.
Yeah.
Possibly the ones in the manga too, but we were never really sure. I don't really go into detail on that. But going into a human body might also feel like she's feeling less because her sense of touch gets reduced compared to what the Berserker body had.
Yeah.
I could see her going to do something and breaking her own arm by accident.
Yep.
Because she was expecting it to be more durable.
Yeah, she wouldn't have an understanding of what a human body would be able to endure because she's used to these powerful cyborgs.
She would, though, Lee. She spent so much time around humans. She'd know exactly how brittle their bones are.
Not necessarily. If she's used to her own body reacting in a certain way, it might take time for her to understand that her body doesn't do that anymore.
True. but she's seen how squishy Meat Boys are.
Oh yeah. I mean, she was always very aware of
there's
other people.
There's some guys who are augmented on the inside, but that's not exactly good.
Yeah. Well, I think in her case, I think she would have, as a human Alita, I think she'd have an idea about how fragile the human body is, but the realization of it.
Yeah, that's
You
the
know,
thing. I mean, she'd be very well aware of how fragile a human body is. The thing is, when it's you doing something,
yes,
unless you're used to it, you can slip into old habits very easily.
yes,
Muscle memory.
or
Yeah.
you just overestimate your ability.
Yes,
Something
which
like that.
happens to regular humans all the time.
Yeah,
I
So-
think she'd adjust quite quickly, though.
I
Yeah,
think
she would probably adjust quite quickly, but it would still take a bit of an adjustment.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do think, though, that she would, after having a couple of kids with Figure 4, she would probably want to go back into a cyborg body. It seems to me she would anyway.
How long had she lived for at that point?
In a human body, like anybody else, I guess.
No.
because-
How long had she
In
been
the
alive
manga,
for?
in the manga for I think less than 250 years.
Yeah.
Well,
In
maybe
the
she'd want to
movie,
stay
we
as a
haven't got
human
that.
body. Like, who wants to live for hundreds of years anyway?
Well, as long as you're in good shape, excuse me, Blotty, you'd want to live as long as you can.
Maybe. Maybe not.
And there's
Well-
quite a few people out there that would love to have an extended lifespan if their quality of life
Stays
is,
up.
up to par.
Yeah, that's right.
At some point, though, you've experienced everything, and eventually you just feel sad that everyone's dying around you.
I think that would depend on the person.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, me, I can't imagine living, forever in this world. That just seems a bit much to me, but somebody else might feel differently.
It's no big deal. Lee.
Indeed. I don't get it.
He's immortal.
There's also
Oh,
the
creaky is, yeah.
slogan where you've lived a long time, but it finally hurts really bad in the last little bit.
Mm.
Yeah. True. The pain of having a human body, she might get sick of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think she would. I think but I do think, though, she would want to have a couple of kids, maybe 3 with Figure 4.
Yeah, some time experiencing what it's like to be a fully fleshed human. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You
she
don't get
probably
you don't get backache from a berserker body.
exactly. She might decide she misses it enough that she will not go back to a
Yeah, I think
fully
so.
cybernetic body again.
You don't get backache, you get telemetry.
I feel like I need to understand I know roughly what telemetry means, but I need to know exactly what that means to understand that fully.
Data.
Yeah.
Data, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, in the human body, what makes her what she is now. Up until the last order, she has a human brain, so genetics does take it does have a role to play there. And of course, in terms of what you do every day and the environment you're in, that also helps shape your, how would you say, your self-image of yourself or who you think you are. I think it does that. Now, in the case of her in the last order, certainly genetics is a precursor because she's got a memory chip, or rather got a brain chip, in that. So she's an android. But I think she still learns, and I think she has still retained her human, how would you say, humanity, that she's done that.
Well, she undoubtedly still learns. I mean, you look at Ito in the manga. He learned to be what was it, a Christmas Carol, the side story? Yeah, he was learning to be a cyber surgeon because he wasn't before.
Yeah.
So, the brain chip does, in fact, emulate an organic brain, seemingly every way, at least.
Yeah.
Except that it never grows old and probably doesn't wear out if you got good maintenance for it, ever.
And of course, as much as these people knew, at least, in the story, as much as they know about, consciousness and the human brain, they can upload your consciousness to another brain chip. If your brain chip starts malfunctioning.
Yeah.
Mm,
If they did it once, they can do it again.
Yeah.
God, it would be cool to just transport your consciousness instantly to another body.
Yeah, I'd like to have a cyborg body so I could bench press 2,000 pounds. What's that?
Yeah, or just
Don't
be
think they'd let
anything
you
that you want
compete,
to be.
Creaky.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me compete if I did that.
We were talking about trans people earlier, and you can see why a lot of them identify with Alita, because they obviously they can. It would be amazing if they could just wake up in the opposite gender's body.
Yeah. But, with those folks, though, there's some hormones that, that they have to kind of,
Yeah, there's a lot
I'm
of adjustments
speaking
that
in
have
the
to be made.
sci-fi
because-
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to ask Tony Stark for an Iron Man suit. It'd be fine. It would make it easy to pick up my car and look underneath it for repairs.
Yes.
Yeah, you definitely won't be switching genders in the cyberpunk world.
So yesterday at work, somebody looked at my staff card, which you got to carry around your neck or on a belt hook or something, and they said, "Oh, that's gone a bit manky." I said, "Oh, it's only a couple of years old." And I said, "Oh yeah, the printing's sort of come off and stuck onto the plastic sheath around it." And I said, "Go and get a new one." I said, "What, you can do that?" Goes, "Yeah, just go down and get them to print you a new one. It'll only take like 5 minutes." And so I went down and had my staff card reprinted. Now you can read it again, which is nice. I mean, it still opened the doors, like the electronic part, but you couldn't read it properly because it had sort of gone manky. And just like, oh, my brain chip's gone a bit manky. Oh, just go print you a new one. It'll only take 5 minutes.
Might take a little longer than 5 minutes, but yeah, just get a new one printed.
Well, their 3D printers would be different than ours because they could not only just print, from resin or plastic or whatever, but they could also, have, kind of the conductive.
Yeah, if you've got
like wire.
disassembler nanites too, you just shuffle a bunch of crap into whatever bin it's hooked up to, and just have the disassembler nanites break it down to whatever materials you need.
Yes, indeed. God, I need to get a 3D printer. That's what I need.
Yes, Creaky.
I don't need a 3D printer. I want one. That's something.
Well, you could do Alita promotion stuff with it, so you should get one.
That's true. You could print up Alita merch.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
yeah.
Not necessarily to sell, but basically just to promote Alita.
Yeah, like we could do giveaways. I swear someone's got that. Who's got a 3D printer? Someone in the fandom has. Let's get them using it more.
Yeah, I think Angelus has put up some images of people that have done 3D printing of Alita character, the character anyway. Okay, anyway, moving on, I guess, and this is kind of what we were talking about a little while ago about, if you lose your memory, in other words, you have no memory whatsoever, you've been in some kind of traumatic situation, and you maybe suffered brain damage or something.
Or you're under some kind of
Kill you.
I was actually watching a fictional movie about that, In the Line of Fire, starring Clint Eastwood and John Malkovich. And the guy played by John Malkovich, he was with the military special forces, and eventually it went to the point where he just felt like he had no purpose anymore. So he was just killing people. And Clint Eastwood stopped him because he was with the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Well, there's some real world examples of what memory loss can do to a person. And there's a number of cases where a person's personality completely alters when they experience memory loss.
Yeah, if you can strip someone of their personality, you can build them up to be whatever you want them to be. Nova would have a lot of fun with that.
He probably has.
Because as soon as you wipe someone's personality, you just have to, and they're in a suggestible state, you can just say, you are this is who you are, and they'll just accept it.
Maybe. Yeah. Well,
considering the level of, I was just going to say that considering the level of understanding they seem to have about that sort of thing, it would probably be easier for them to do it in that time period than we'd be able to do it in today's, today's understanding.
Yeah. You are definitely still you if you suffer from amnesia, because you are Seer Chaos. He just said he's got to go.
Oh, okay.
In the chat. Because you ultimately you are your soul, which is almost separate from your personality and your memories and everything. So I would, in answer to your first bullet point, I'd say absolutely yes. You are still you if you suffer from amnesia.
It's possible that amnesia simply makes other aspects of your personality become more dominant.
Yeah.
In terms of,
well, if you look at Alita, when she was a child, she was a very kind, very fun-loving little girl. And then when she grew up and entered, into the Corps with the other mercenaries, she became very cold-blooded. But when she lost her memory and got reset, that basically the aspects of her when she was a little girl came back out again.
The childhood core personality. That's what the original like core programming is. That's what everyone grows up with, and then you build from there. So it totally makes sense that you'd revert back to that childhood state.
Well, if it was indelled in your subconscious and the amnesia did not affect your subconscious, only your, conscious, memories and stuff like that, then I think you could definitely say that you're still you. You may have to relearn some things, but, you still perceive things with the same, how would you say, point of view, I guess, that you had before. You just don't remember stuff, which kind of makes me think about this. A lot of some folks have done, we have one here in Colorado, as a matter of fact, where people have their heads removed and they're, when they die and they get put in some kind of cryo state.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully they're already dead when that happens.
Yeah, they are dead when it happens. But the thought is that when technology, advances to the point where they can be revived, and their brains repaired.
I've heard about that. And haven't some of them they haven't been able to keep it up, so the frozen heads have just thawed and now they're just dead.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a famous baseball player that was really famous baseball player in the 40s and 50s named Ted Williams, and that's what he did. He was one of the best one of the greats, one of the best baseball players of all time, along with Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio and those.
And when were they first doing this head freezing thing? Wasn't there a rumor Walt Disney did that?
I think they've been doing this since the late 60s or something.
Are they still doing it?
I haven't kept up with that, but I
think to a lesser degree, but I think it's mainly fallen out of favor these days.
Yeah, I think so.
The problem is ice crystals. They form inside the cells and break the cells. So I've had to work on rats that had been frozen, trying to get their pituitary glands out, and it all just turns to mush. All the structures just disintegrate because the ice crystals breaking the cells.
Yeah. Yep. And I think the thought was that the technology would be so great when they get, revived that they could overcome that, that kind of problems you would have with freezing like that, so I don't know.
Very, very hopeful. Yeah. I've got to say.
Overly optimistic, I think.
That's probably the best way to describe it, yes.
Yeah, I mean, once your brain turns to mush, I mean, that's going to be pretty hard to read.
Well, once your cells in general turn to mush, you're not really rebuilding those.
Yeah, that's right.
Unless your name's Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're Mr. Plot Armor himself.
Yes. Yep. Who gets killed how many times?
I've lost count.
Yeah.
There's died once in the movie universe.
Yeah, there's numerous cases of his clones dying in the manga that are just like sort of behind the scenes sort of thing. You just see the remains of them scattered around, but yeah, he just don't stay dead. Apparently, Kashiro likes him way too much.
Well, I think in Alita's
case,
quite fun. What we've seen is that there is a relationship between what she remembers and her consciousness in terms of who she perceives herself to be. In other words, not necessarily her consciousness, but, I mean, she remembers stuff, it kind of like what that last bullet says, when she gets in a fight, and it's maybe a life or death situation, then she gets these flashbacks. Now, it seems to me that the biggest player on that in terms of how you perceive things, you know, how you're consciously, you know, seeing things and you're seeing them as you. That is, for me, my belief is that's more on the subconscious level. The stuff that you remember consciously, like when you went to school and stuff like that, I think you can lose all of that memory and still be you. Now, you're going to be pretty well a blank plate like Alita was, but Alita was still who she was. She was still Alita. You know, she still perceived things as her, if you get my drift. You know, now
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and she's but now she's not perceiving things as Yoko because she learned all that stuff, a lot of stuff, you know, in the either the mercenaries in the manga or the Erm military in the movie. A lot of stuff she learned, you know, was in her conscious self. But a lot of stuff that she also learned was also in her subconscious, like her ability to fight, you know. She didn't know how to fight. She really didn't know techniques until she gets in those situations, and it's just natural.
Yeah, it
It's
comes
like
back to her.
survival instinct and muscle memory.
Yep.
Yep, in her case, muscles are certainly not organic, but her
No.
What's
brain,
not organic, sorry?
yeah, her brain's interaction, you know, with the subsystems in her berserker body or even her doll body take over.
It remembers the way the body should feel making the
Yes, yeah, that's it.
Apparently, a lot of her fighting technique was stored in her core.
Yeah,
Her
So the
core
fact
is
that her
just her
core wasn't
brain,
destroyed.
right?
No, her
And her
core's in her
heart, but-
chest.
Yeah, the core is both
Her
the
core was
skull
her
and
the core that Edo found was her chest, which is her cybernetic heart,
yeah,
and her brain. It wasn't just
Yeah.
her chest, no?
it was
Yeah.
her chest, which was her heart and lungs, as well as a bit of her spinal cord and her head and brain.
But surely everything to do with her personality was stored in her brain, which
Yes.
is the main part of the core.
Yes.
Yes, but the cybernetic body has subsystems. So rather than storing everything in the brain, it's kind of like an expert system. So the brain says, "I want to do an axe kick," and the message goes down to the core, and the core translates that into cybernetic body movements.
yeah.
Okay.
I think
So
more
it's
precisely in
like
that
an-
case, it would be like
More
some kind
mechanical
of
than I'm thinking
neural
of.
coprocessor or something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Cyberpunk has a similar system, which I think we mentioned in another, or I mentioned in another one, that basically it interfaces with a lot of your cybernetic systems and translates between your brain and those systems.
So that third bullet, can you forget who you are or who you were? I think it would depend on, you know, what part of your, you know, your psyche was damaged. You know, like for instance, if both your subconscious and your conscious memories, whatever those are, if they're both wiped out, you do forget who you were or who you are, right? Now, Alita did forget who she was for the most part, but she was regaining that, you know, so everything wasn't destroyed, I guess. So, or at least it was buried so deep, you know, into her systems that she had to rediscover how to recall that, I guess. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So certainly we know what triggers Alita's memory. She gets in a life or death situation, and that's when the flashback happens, and she sees herself fighting on the moon. She sees herself training with Gelda. She sees herself going up the supply tube to kind of attack Zalem because she's in a life or death situation during those times, you know. You know, in the novelization, her and Hugo were kind of, he was training her, I guess, at the track, I guess, that he and Tanji had built. And she skates around that thing and totally destroys it and tells Hugo to hit her with what was it,
I think it was a 2x4.
2x4 or something like that. And he says, "Are you crazy?" He said, "No, I want you to really hit me," you know, or something like that. And he goes to hit her, and of course she, you know, blocks it, and a 2x4 smashes, and she rolls up on top of him and is on top of him about to punch him, and he says, did anything come back or something like that? But see, she wasn't in a life or death situation. So she didn't remember anything after that, plus she probably had never played motorball, either. That would also help trigger, her past memories. So,
motorball is extremely intense. So it definitely trigger all of her like action-y, like I've got to survive this fight scene instincts.
Yeah.
I don't know why I call that a scene there. I mean, just general moment of her life.
Yeah.
Because she went through a lot of action scenes, right?
Yep.
Since birth, basically. So she was obviously, she was put immediately into what? A baby cyborg body?
Basically, yeah. An infant cyborg body.
And
there is a panel of that.
Well, it was a tumor, I guess, but yeah.
What do you mean by
she
tumor?
was taken out as a tumor and put into an infant cyborg body.
Yes. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I was going to say, getting into that whole thing, that's spoiler territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's called facial tumor disease.
Yeah, that's right. That's what Muster had.
But it wasn't from his body. It was from.
And did they have to keep growing? Who was giving her new bodies every time?
There were some scientists having a bit of fun.
Yeah, there was a number of doctors involved in it.
Interesting.
Yeah, basically, Mars in the manga was a messed up place during the Civil Wars.
Yep. Understatement.
We're heading there. Musk wants to inhabit Mars, isn't he? So
yeah,
we'll probably get there. Alita is basically a prophecy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seemed like it a little bit.
Maybe I'll get to meet
her. We are part of history here as the Alita Army.
Well, we kind of have met Alita already, haven't we, Vladi?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
I've met Alita 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
and she was an angel in every single meeting.
Yeah, you're one ahead of me, Vlads, because I met her 3 times.
Oh god, yeah, am I the highest in the entire Alita Army?
Yeah, I wouldn't call you a general, but anyway.
You wouldn't call me what? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
General, like a general of the Alita Army. I would.
You wouldn't call me that.
No, you're just.
I've been called that before, Creaky. Why wouldn't you call me that?
Well, because you're just Lottie, that's all.
No, I have been called that on the subreddit because I'm like the mod there and everything.
Oh, cool. Well, that is cool.
Yeah, this guy said I was the general of the Alita Army. But I'm so non-general, like I'm so disorganized and everything. It's just funny to me.
You don't have a military mind then, right, Lottie?
Completely the opposite. My mind is completely disordered. There's no order in my. Basically, a military mind is almost like it's kind of like being a programmed cyborg. I'm basically the opposite of that, where your body is not your own from birth, and you're a machine programmed to just do the bidding of some like evil militarist force.
Yeah.
But that's one reason why I find Alita such a beautiful story, because she's given like a second chance to break free of that and just be her own person.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like that is like the core message of humanity, is just to express your own soul and not be a slave.
Yeah. Well, I know, like you, my experience with Rosa is that, yeah, she, the 3 times I've, been around her, she's been an angel each time. So kind of like you.
Yeah. She could easily have lost patience, especially because I was there 4 times.
No, I don't think she. No,
I think I handled it very well. I don't think I went there too much. Because I know she's also had issues with stalkers in the past, hasn't she?
Yes. Well, I think she.
I was never considering going without going to the play. I was never even in my thinking. But a stalkery sort of fan could easily have gone to every single play. You know what I mean? So I think, I hope, and I'm like 100% sure that the Alita Army have behaved impeccably with Rosa Salazar.
Oh, I think so. I mean, yeah, and Yeah, Vladi, you were nowhere near a stalker. I mean,
No, definitely not.
and we certainly.
I went to the play. I wasn't even planning on going 4 times, and I don't think 4 is that many anyway. But I only went the second time
because
we were all going.
Yeah.
So obviously that was like an amazing experience. Originally, I thought it was just going to be you, Creaky, and then you all surprised me. It was just so funny.
Yeah.
And then the third time, Schmendrick was like, "You have to go again."
Yeah.
I lost my thing, so he paid for that ticket. So I was like, "Yeah, well, let's go. Why not?" So I went again, and I got a program. You know, you get the program from the play with all the cast on the magazine thingy. And so I had to sign. I get one because he lost his in London, so I signed one for Schmendrick. And then I had to go again because it was like I wanted to go for the final night because it seemed to be fate that I go then.
Let's see if I can find something here.
So yeah, I think everyone was fine, and I was fine, and it was all good.
Oh yeah, I think so. I don't think there was any issues like that. I was trying to find the picture of all of us with her, but I can't find it. Oh, we don't.
What do you mean you can't find it?
Well, I got so many Rosa and Alita pictures on my PC. It's really disorganized.
You need to utilize like cloud-based image storage, and then you can just search for the faces, and it's so much easier with AI.
Yeah, that's true. I should do that.
Boomer.
No, I know AI pretty good, Vladi.
Like I upload all my images automatically to Amazon Photos, and then you could just go on your people, and then you could just find my ugly face, and then you'd find that picture like in a couple of seconds.
Well, I think I know where it is. Hold on, I'll find it. There we go. Let's see.
Scratching my...
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Come on, Creaky, get the better picture up. Look, she's laughing at what I'm saying. How cute.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I wonder what I'm saying there.
I don't know. You had long hair, I know that.
Well, you can't see it in that picture.
No, you can't. You get an idea.
Why is that? It's not the best picture, Creaky. Can you please move to the next one?
Well, let's see if I can.
Rosa looks great, but it's not my best angle. Bring up the one where we're all posing. What are you doing?
It's not supposed to be a picture about you, Glenn. All right, let me look one more. Let me see if I can find one more, and then we need to move on. Let's see. Well, here's one, I guess, that's a pretty good one. That
the edit or all the Motorball Stadium.
Yeah. So
that's a cute picture.
You know, I think Rosa really enjoyed being with us. I mean, she did. You know, I mean, you can tell by the look on her face. She was happy to see us. You know, I mean,
yeah,
she loved that necklace, didn't she? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
She was really warm and receptive to all our gifts and everything we said. She was just a very lovely person.
Yeah. Yeah, our queen is, she's super. No doubt about it. Okay, moving right along. So, I mean, when somebody like Alita wakes up, you know, I mean, first of all, we got to figure out what resilience is, and of course, simply put, it's just the ability to adapt. That's really all it is, to different stimuli, different environments, that sort of thing. So, do you get the feeling that maybe Alita, did she successfully adapt in the movie and in the manga?
Adapt to what?
Just adapt to her being in where she was in Iron City. Remember, she, you know, for her life up to that point.
What do you mean? Are we supposed to judge how she adapted to the situation?
No. Do you think she adapted successfully? For instance, she was on Mars as a little girl. She was on Mars as a soldier, and you know, that was her entire life until she gets into a post-apocalyptic world like Iron City, and a lot of people may not be able to handle that. But she seemed
a bit of mental whiplash from all that change so quickly.
Yeah, and I think that she, I think as a person, she is very resilient. In other words, she does have the ability,
highly adaptable and flexible.
Absolutely.
Physically and mentally.
Oh, apparently Windy City Smokers is coming out with a book.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Coming out with a book.
Yeah, he's writing a book from the looks of it.
Oh, cool.
Oh, we got another author in the Elite Army there, Maxie.
That's cool.
Retelling of a trope. What trope were we referring to when this was mentioned, though? I might have lost track here.
Yeah, we don't know. We need to know what we were talking about at that specific time.
By the way, just so people know, the guy, Windy City Smoker, there is the guy that actually did my Kansas Bar sign.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
They're really cool.
And my smoker, he did that too as well. I've used the smoker several times.
So. I knew the name was familiar. I just couldn't quite place it.
Yeah,
the amnesia cyborg trope. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting. Is trope even a word that I like? I'm not sure I like the word trope.
It's
theme,
basically
really.
some sort of
it's
theme
a human
that gets
theme.
used a
Exactly.
lot.
It's happened throughout the entirety of human history, where
it tends to have
people can lose their
on
memories from trauma or from anything, really, from drugs. You can just it's just something that, like brain injury. You can just. So it's a constant, it's just a reality of the human experience that sometimes happens.
Yeah.
It's just a trope of humanity.
Yeah, a lot of things that people seem to just sort of dismiss as an overused trope, for instance, are just basic rules of life. Things just, end up becoming a trope because either they tend to work out that way or they work that way in a story.
Yeah, the trope is sort of a word that I don't really like in a way.
Well, it's a word. My favorite philosopher, Alan Watts, had this little song. He'd say, "The word is not the thing. The word is not the thing. Hi ho, the Dario. The word is not the thing."
True. Yeah. That's a good point.
Anyway, that third bullet right there. Now, in Alita's case, she gets thrust into this different environment. Remember, she's used to living on Mars. It was a totally different environment, and she got thrust into Iron City, but she had amnesia. So it wasn't like her complete self with all the memory intact and all that was suddenly put into a new environment. She may have reacted totally different if she had just been thrust into Iron City with everything intact. In other words, as Yoko, as opposed to the way she was found, with her memory gone, basically, and reintegrated into a different body. So it's probably not so much of an adaptation there, is it? It's more of just kind of a melding into the environment of Iron City, because at that point, she didn't know anything else.
Yeah.
But if she had gone into Iron City as Yoko,
things would have turned out very different.
I think so too. And in terms of adapting to that environment, I don't know how much the adaptation would have been totally different, I think, because remember, they viewed Earth, the did, from the movie verse, the viewed Earth as the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Well, even in the manga, if she got woken up in Iron City by either Ito or anybody else as Yoko, she probably would have left a trail of bodies.
Yep.
Including
Ito's.
Possibly. She didn't necessarily go out of her way to go killing people, but she certainly had no problem doing it, and she didn't care who she did it to. If she had a set objective and it required permanently removing people from her path, she would absolutely do it.
Yeah.
There was none of the empathy, none of the compassion, any of that.
Yeah, she kind of learned that from Ito's influence, didn't she?
Well, I would say she relearned it, because remember in the like I was saying in
Yeah.
Mars Chronicles, when she was a child,
Yeah,
she was very kind, very considerate, very
yeah,
fun-loving. So I think she got that back when she
yeah,
lost her memory.
yeah.
I mean,
So
basically her warrior training had carved that out of her.
Yeah, it's kind of a metaphor for like what the military does to you in a way. And I had something to say, but I forgot. Sorry, carry on.
well, in terms of that last bullet, if she had gone in as Yoko, she would be more of a, it'd be not an adaptation, but more of a reaction, to the environment. Yeah, here we go. What's this, Maxie? Tell, because we just read this.
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
We covered this just last week.
Yep.
In the manga episode on Radio Chaos, but talking about Alita's adaptability, it says here, every soldier gets scared when they cannot grasp the situation on the battlefield. You should remember this. The true crisis is not seeing the enemy. It is being scared of a crisis in a crisis situation. You are not in full control. Now, how can we avoid that? Even when you find yourself in a situation that you cannot understand, just accept it as it is. Do not rush. Observe and secure your position.
Yeah. That really speaks to Alita's, or in the case whether she's Yoko, she's not Yoko here, she's Alita, but her adaptability or her resilience. Yeah.
So basically, she's been trained to be resilient.
Yes.
I just wanted to bring that up because I thought, seeing we just covered it last week.
Yeah. And it fits perfectly with this, I think.
Yeah. Give some insight into where she got some of her flexibility.
Yes. Yep. And that training stayed with her.
Yep.
I think that first question, if you're in a different environment, does your behavior change? And I think in her case, it was not just because she was in a different environment. I think it was because she had amnesia as well. So her behavior did change because she didn't remember her old behavior, did she? I mean, as Yoko, she was a different person.
I think environment and the way you are treated has a lot of say in how you develop your reactions to your environment. So, if you grow up in a loving family and are given the things you need, and a few special things like that are only yours, and you're guided up into a functional person, then you're going to be completely different from somebody who lived on the streets and was struggling to find food and was beaten down at every opportunity and all that sort of thing.
And in the movie, it was a really short, like, microcosm of that, because she was instantly greeted by these in this like childhood bedroom that was obviously so warm and loved, and then she met Ido and Gerhard, and they gave her big smiles and like treated her with respect. Whereas it could have been completely different, obviously, if like Vector had found her or something.
Yeah.
Or Nova.
Yeah, and she might have, and then because of she would have mirrored what she'd seen when she woke up, she would have been completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, remember, she didn't even know what an orange was, did she?
Yeah. The lesson she learned in how to deal with the environment and people around her would have been very different.
Yep.
Exactly. I need to use AI to create an alternate reality of what would happen if Vector would have found Alita.
She probably would have reverted to Yoko.
Yeah. She would have been an operative.
I mean, Yoko, but wasn't she called Yoko when she was an innocent child and being not violent and sweet and everything?
Well, we're also referring to the Yoko she became when she grew up and joined the
military.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was later, though.
Yeah. But that's the Yoko she ended up with. She didn't stay a child for long. She spent most of her time.
Her story is extremely tragic.
Yeah.
Well, just about all the stories in Kishiro's universe are tragic in one way or another.
A tortured soul.
I mean, you look at what happened to Erica.
Yeah.
Her parents basically brutally tortured her throughout her childhood.
Well, let the dog bite her
It's
hand.
a story of humanity, really. Right now, someone is going through some horrific thing that we can't even imagine.
True.
I think Alita and Yoko are kind of too steady in contrast, isn't it? Because I mean, in a lot of ways, they were kind of, they both grew up on Mars and all that. Now they were in different environments, you know. So Yoko, you know, was in. She was real small, so she didn't really remember a whole lot. But I mean, Erica was older, and she grew up in a very negative environment, and even as a little girl, that had an effect on her, changed her behavior, because she, you know, killed her parents and burned the house down. So, you know, that was, and then of course, Baron Muster got a hold of her. And
that was a whole new set of influences.
That's right. A whole bunch of
and then the assassin who tried to kill him.
Yep.
After pretending to be her friend.
Yep. So, I mean, whereas Alita was, you know, reacted differently, I guess. So, you know. So I think that last bullet where we talk about the 3 different environments, I think Alita herself, I think she would adapt to any one of the 3 because she is trained to adapt. But I think certainly her reactions would be different. I mean, if she suddenly got transplanted into a negative environment of some kind where people were trying to harm her or trying to harm the people she cared about, her actions would be totally different than being in a more positive or loving environment, obviously. And of course, that unknown environment thing, that's kind of like what Maxie put up on that, you know, is that, you know, she was in an environment she didn't know anything about, but she adapted to it. You know, she hanging by a thread there, hanging by that wire, you know. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds very interesting, Windy City.
Yep. Any other thoughts about this?
Nothing that comes to mind for me, anyway. I mean, for me, the last bullet, I think the length of time it would take her to adapt to each of these types of environments, probably wouldn't really be all that different.
Yeah, the length of time probably wouldn't be, but just her reaction certainly would be, I think.
Yeah, she'd have a different reaction in general to it, but the length of time it would take her to adapt to them so she'd be able to survive, I think would be pretty equally short.
Yeah, I think so. It'd be pretty much the same, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess we've been going nearly 2 hours. Maxie, any final thoughts?
I think Alita's been through a lot, which is, you know, the way that Kishiro likes to treat his characters.
Yes.
And it does draw the reader to the character. It's like, oh God, if I went through that, I'd want somebody to care about me, kind of deal. And it's a way to make the reader engage with the character. It's like the empathy of, oh my God, she's going through it, kind of deal. And it's another one of those, if you read about somebody who's having a shit time, your time by comparison doesn't seem so shit. So it kind of helps the reader in that fashion as well. The old, well, it could be worse kind of.
That's why I like to watch like hoarder videos or police body cam. At least I'm not those guys.
Yeah,
exactly.
At least I don't have an asshole like Nova trying to kill me.
Yeah.
Lee, any final thoughts?
Not really, no.
How about you, Vladi?
Well, I was just thinking, do we not all have a Nova type of person trying to kill us? That's just like living in civilization, is it not?
I suppose it could be argued we might have somebody like that in a certain capital city.
Yes.
What in
Don't
Washington and Tel Aviv?
Yeah. Don't get me started either.
What's that? Isn't everyone thinking Netanyahu's dead now? Isn't that the latest rumor?
There's a lot of words and a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe the war will end then. Maybe. I mean, what's Trump going to do? He's just gonna. He's like his eyes are going to stop glowing blue because Bibi's dead, so he won't be like controlled anymore.
Well, the
He's just not
problem
gonna know what
is,
to do with
even if
himself.
he goes out of office, the powers driving the war are still going
there
to be driving the war.
Yeah, I suppose Netanyahu's not the who's controlling Netanyahu.
Well,
what does this have to do with Alita?
Yeah.
Nothing. Except it's kind of parallel to Nova, I guess. But
yeah. All right, moving on. You're right.
Well, my final thoughts on this is that for me, Alita is basic. Even as Yoko, she still had a thread of goodness in her. Now, yeah, she was violent. She was. She wouldn't think twice about killing you if you were, her enemy or something like that. But I think, that's one reason that when she woke up in Iron City after Ito had put her in the doll body, I think that part of her got retained because that was her subconscious. And I think she was basically a good person anyway, even after being trained by the or by the mercenaries, depending on which version. And that's my thought behind it. I think she still is her. And even though she was, her behavior was totally different as Yoko, I still think it was her, if you get my drift.
Yeah. She'll always be her.
Yeah.
She's always, I don't know how to describe it. Just the soul is always like striving to reach the divine or something, or just like the purest form of spirit. I don't really know how to describe it. It's way above my head.
Yeah.
I just know we're each like no matter what happens to us, we'll always be ourselves.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I want to see in the sequel is I want to see. You remember at the end of the movie, Alita was more like manga Alita for me than she was at the beginning, because at the beginning, you remember she was kind of the uncanny valley and all that kind of stuff.
Go on. What do you mean uncanny valley?
Well, she just was like innocent, naive.
That's not uncanny valley, Creaky. You got to get your terms right.
I know, but I mean, she was more. I don't know how to put it. She just.
She's just pure and innocent. She just hasn't seen the darkness in the world yet. Her eyes are wide and just.
Well, that is my point. My point is that was her essence. That was her at her most basis.
That was her and her real Yoko personality, her childhood personality before they like turned her into a killing machine.
Yes, that was my point. So,
and I agree with you when you're saying at the end of the film, when she's doing the epilogue, when she's rolling out, she is that. If you go to my profile now and go to my pinned tweet, you'll see a comparison of her in the manga with her in that final shot. And it's just basically a 1-for-1, 100% reproduction of how she appears in the manga in terms of her expression, everything. So I agree with you 100%.
Well,
if you want to pull that up, you could show it right now.
Well, part of my final thought was about her being more like manga Alita. Remember, she kills Vector. I mean, Vector is threatening her people she loves. So she kills him, but he's unarmed, and she is not, but she has no compunction about killing him. To me, that was more like Yoko than what we saw at the beginning of the movie. Now, one of my hopes is I want to see Rosa kind of in that kind of a frame of mind as Alita. She's lost Hugo up to that point, the love of her life, and she's probably not just sad. She's probably, what's the word am I looking for?
Devastated.
Yeah, she's just depressed.
grieving in mourning,
grieving, clinically depressed, whatever. And she is going to be a different person, I think, in Alita 2, at least at the beginning of the movie, I think, or for a good bit of the first half of the movie, probably. That's what I want to see Rosa pull that off. That's what I want to see. So
yeah, I mean, in the manga, she was well depressed and like not even talking to Ido and stuff. So it's going to be really hard to see in the sequel.
Well, it's going to be
cry straight away from the start.
Well, it's going to be eye-opening for all of us, but I think Rosa can pull that off for sure.
Definitely.
Did we miss anything?
She might have started out with without the darkness of Iron City, but she sure got it by the end.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
It was kind of just a metaphor for people discovering how dark our world really is as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's one reason why I love it so much, including all the themes of like mind control and everything as well.
Yeah, I want to see Rosa act as Alita in that kind of gray area. I mean, it's going to be difficult to watch probably, but I kind of want to see her pull that off. That's just my opinion anyway. Well, did we miss anything, you guys?
And what you were just saying, that's why it's criminal to not let Rosa do that. It would be like a crime against cinema to not let her tell the rest of Alita's story.
She's going to be able to tell it. I have.
Well, she seems convinced. So
yes,
telling every fan that comes to London that the sequels are ready to go.
All right, Maxie, you're up.
Ready to roll. Well, not no, let's see, how many hours is it? I think it's the same time next week now, isn't it?
What?
So 24 hours from when this stream started, Radio Chaos will begin over on.
It's 23 hours because
is it?
I started at 4 o'clock Mountain, and that's 3 o'clock, so it would be
a little 1 hour shorter there.
Yeah. 1 hour
shorter. Oh, well, there we go. Okay. Well, 23 hours after this stream started, we'll be starting another live stream, Radio Chaos, over on the Alita Army channel. Hope you will join us over there for that one. Episode, oh God, I've got a special episode in there. I've got to take that special bit out. Episode 310. It's Daisuke/Dyson Ido, A Hard Life for a Caring Man, and it's also Yukito Kishiro's birthday. So we'll be talking about Ido and what he went through in both the movie and the manga and the OVA. And we'll also be checking out Yukito Kishiro's website to see if he's doing anything for his birthday. I don't know if his website gets updated all that often, but we'll have a quick look and see what he's up to there. I'll do some AI searches to see if there's anything that's come up about his birthday in Japan or anything like that.
I saw some posts on Twitter about it.
Oh, did you? Well, if you could dig those up, if you're going to be there tomorrow, that'd be great.
They weren't they were just from random people, but.
Oh, okay. Just wishing him happy birthday and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Maxie, it will be a special episode because it's special. We'll have fun.
Fair enough. Oh dear. Anyway, so that's what will be happening tomorrow for the Radio Chaos live stream. So I hope you'll all join us. There are the times advertised there in your local time zone. Hopefully, I've covered everybody who might be watching. Being a worldwide fandom, it does take a bit of effort to work out when the hell everything is happening. But there you go. Oh, and before anybody complains about the image, because we're talking about Ido from both the manga and the movie, I remembered this image that somebody did up of what if Ido from the movie looked like Ido from the manga? So they created this abomination, which I thought
it's not AI though. People would think it was AI, wouldn't they? These days.
Yeah.
Well, back in it was done in 2020, so it was not AI.
Pre the AI abomination takeover.
Boy, AI sure has come a long way in 6 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool like live action versions of manga panels on Instagram.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's what's happening tomorrow. Do join us for that one.
Cool. And there's our queen. And of course, our queen is #1 in the Creek's book in terms of being an actor because she is awesome. And she, to me, in that play, you know, in High Noon, she was the most interesting character. Now, I'm biased as hell for sure. But for me, she was the most interesting character. She had a better backstory, didn't she, Vladi? I think, you know, in terms of being a saloon owner and, you know, kind of.
Oh yeah, she was the best character in High Noon.
I think
I
so.
can't believe the High Noon era is over now. It's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I hadn't been competing at the Arnold that last. I'd have flown back over and gone with you, Vlad. That's for sure.
You weren't committed enough, Creaky.
I know. But it would have been nice to see her again because she is great, you know. And
we will see her again. She thinks I'll see her soon, so we'll definitely all see her again soon. I'm sure you'll get an invite to the premiere.
Well, maybe, but you know, I know if she does another play, which I know she's going to, because she seems to enjoy doing it. Wherever that is, I'm going. So I mean,
I was hoping they might film the sequels this summer, but she might have to fill more time in, so she might do another play. You never know.
Well, she did. It took her 1.5 years almost. You know, well, 1 year and 3 months, something like that. You know, so it would probably be. Let's say if she does another play and they haven't greenlit the sequel yet, then it'll probably be like toward the middle of next year that she might do another one, perhaps. You know, I don't know. What I think would be cool is if she did a play at the Denver Center for Performing Arts, because they got several theaters down there. And, you know, I mean, I'd be like you, Vladi. I'd probably go see her 4 times. You know, we'd have to organize another trip with the folks going, you know, for sure. You know, I know Angelus would probably go, you know, and
I don't know. I couldn't. I don't think I could afford another trip like that.
Well, I think if it was in Denver, Lee, you'd probably go, wouldn't you? You could bring your girlfriend.
Maybe. She doesn't do well sitting for long periods of times in theaters and such. Yeah, well, her health problems would keep her from doing that comfortably, I think.
Well, hopefully, maybe she would be able to handle it, but yeah, it'd be kind of cool, you know.
It would, yeah.
Because I know Alita Rave would go, sure, you know. So would Do Not Stand By. I'm sure he'd go. So we got like 4 Elite Army types here in Colorado, and we get a couple others traveling. We could really gang up on her. But we would do so respectfully, wouldn't we, Vladi? We wouldn't.
Yeah, it's a strange turn of phrase. You need to work on your phrasing there, Creaky.
Yeah, we would let her know we support her. That's for sure. So Creek's going to quit waxing lyrical and say, you know, I'm going to want to give shout outs to Eldamont and Jesse Fisher because they brought Screwhead to life. And certainly I want to see Screwhead in the sequel. And I want to see Screwhead and Alita team up against Joshagon. In other words, I think Alita and Screwhead and Adjicutty and a couple others would probably compete against Joshagon and some of his teammates, because I don't think they would do it exactly like the manga. They might, you know, I would be okay with it if they made Jai Courtney like Emperor Joshagon. That'd be fine with me, you know. But I think certainly Alita and Screwhead, you know, being on the same team would be really cool, I think, you know. And it'd be like Elle said, you know, she was, you know, kind of mad about being taken advantage of, and goes up to Alita and say, hey, girl, I'm with you. Let's burn it all down. That'd be the coolest thing, I think. And, of course, Jessie's a great stunt woman. So, I mean, as Elle said, she's the best stunt woman she's ever worked with. So the most badass, I think she said, stunt woman. So, yeah, well, I want all 3 of these to be in the sequel. And of course, we do have the Stammtisch after party. And I just put the link in the chat, and here it is. Basically, you could come on and just talk to us. This is not streamed. This is it's going to be the same instance here, but we won't be streaming to YouTube. The stream will be over. And what happens, you click on it, you'll go into backstage, and as soon as the stream's over, I'll bring you in and you can come talk to us. And we don't bite, unless you ask us to. And and then even then we'll be gentle. So, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, come talk to us. And this is also another way that you can kind of maybe test the microphone if you got one, or maybe you feel a little reticent about getting into streaming. Well, this is a good way to start, to know that you're going to get in, into the instance with us. Even though we're not streaming, you get a feel for what it would be like, talking to us on the panel or whatever. And maybe it'll help you with your confidence on being on the stream with us. And of course, you can use that to actually come on to the Radio Chaos stream as well, because we are both sister, streams. So and sister channels on YouTube. So, we would love to have you on here and say hi to you. And if your English is not your first language, don't worry about it. Your English is probably better than mine, and English is my first language. So, German's my second, and Spanish is my third, and I'm horrible at all three. So there. We are the Alita Army. We support Alita and Rosa Salazar passionately and positively. And we're here to stay. And Disney, we're going to keep doing this. I know I am going to continue to do this, even after the sequel, because, Lee and Maxie and Lottie and I, we want 8 sequels is what we want. We also want more anime. We want, the live action series, merch, games, you name it. We want it, and we will gladly turn over our money right out of our pocketbooks and out of our wallets into your waiting hands, Disney, if you'll just green light the sequel. And it will do well, because there are at least 300,000 people in the Alita Army. And by my thought, it's probably a whole lot more than that. So, give us that sequel. We will reward you with it. Or for it. So why is this image here? Well, that image is there because I like it and I'm running the stream. And to paraphrase Gruwishka, I'm only here for our girl and our queen and the Alita Army. And that only leaves us with one thing left to do, and that would be the call to action on my count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Film those sequels,
baby.
All right, so we will see you tomorrow on Radio Chaos, and we will see you next week on the Alita Livestream.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Hi.
What's up, Alita Army? This is Hot Toys Alita, and I hope you enjoyed this week's Alita Livestream. Please join my Uncle Creek, Angelus, and our other guests for next week's show. Remember, I do not stand by in the presence of evil, and film those sequels, baby. See you next time.
No cause is lost, if there was but one fool left to fight for it.
Yeah, Gary, that'd be nice.